Hi everyone, Paul Foster here from Skyline Recruitment. As you know, on our Digitech Leaders series, we like to shine a light on various people, but also technologies. And that's why I'm really glad to say that we've got the founder of a business consultancy that focuses purely on psychometrics. So we've got Thorbjorn to come onto the show, really just to look at psychometrics and almost uncover some of the myths that have kind of been focused around psychometrics in the workplace. So thanks ever so much, Thorbjorn, for coming onto the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Paul, and thanks for inviting me on. I'm looking forward to being able to speak a bit about what we do here. So
good news, good news. So the first thing that, I don't want to insult the intelligence of any of our viewers, but for me, psychometrics is, historically, it's been around for years. Some companies use them, some don't, some enterprise companies don't. So let's go back to the basics. Talk me through, Thorbjorn, what are psychometrics essentially?
Okay, well, psychometrics is really the study of psychology as well as statistics. So it's really ways to look at how personality and how human psyche can actually be staticized.
Right. Okay. So now you're actually you are a business psychologist by trade. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. Good news. So talk me through then. So with regards to psychometrics, talk me through because what I'm interested in is the different types of psychometrics, and then what the application is of those different types.
Okay. So in theory, there are many different types of psychometric assessments that can be developed. It can be from personality to how someone engages in the workplace. Anything like this, can actually be developed into a psychometric assessment. I mean, at Insight, what we focus on is three main areas of psychometrics, and that is personality, aptitude, and values. So our personality test is based on the 5-factor model, and this is really looking at the 5 main characteristics that create someone's personality. And this is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And together, this is the theory that this test uses, is because this is the most supported theory of personality out there in terms of research and support. Okay. There are theories as well of personality, but this is just the one that our test focuses on. The second aspect, aptitude, and this is really looking at, it's kind of like an intelligence test, the old IQ test would be considered an aptitude test, but our test is different because it looks at general mental ability. And that is one aspect of intelligence that is the highest correlated aspect to other aspects of intelligence, such as verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, and all that. So by having someone who scores high on general mental ability, it generally means that they would score high on numerical reasoning or verbal reasoning. So that's why that's really focused here. The final aspect we look into is values. And that's really just to look at the person's values and to see if that matches the company culture that they're going to be going into. Because it's all well and good having someone who has the best personality for the job, has the right mental ability to do the job. But at the end of the day, if they come into a company that they don't respect or they don't feel that they can grow with, their motivation is going to be low and they're not going to be performing to their best ability. Yeah. The main reason we focus on these aspects is because the combination of personality and aptitude together, as recently as in 2016, was researched by Schmidt, and he had found that 78% workplace performance can be attributed to the combination of these two. So that's a very high percentage, success, right?
Yeah. I think so. A lot of our clients are either recently funded startup or scale-up organizations. So what you'll typically have is it'll be a software company, health tech company, and the founder will be evolving the culture as it goes along. Okay. Now I've had a go on some of your psychometrics. so what a founder has to do is that they've got to build out, let's say, a software engineering team. They've got to build out a commercial team, sales team. They've got to build out marketing and customer success implementation. There's lots of different types of teams that in itself, the personalities, let's say, are quite different. So it's really important where if you're using a psychometric that you can understand the personality profile, but then understand the aptitude, but more importantly, understand the values, because ultimately the personality can vary, but the cultural values is what holds a team together, especially now, since many of us are working remotely. Is that right?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. I would say it's more important now than ever, to ensure that those teams do share the same values, to make sure that they are supporting each other and can, get through these situations as well. Definitely.
So in my mind, and it may be in the mind of our viewers, but psychometrics is really old. I mean, I don't even know. So I want to kind of get your input on this. It's a science, which is great. We need to be using science all the time. Has it evolved? I mean, has psychometric assessments evolved to keep up with technology and the way companies evolved and moved on?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, psychometrics have been around for a long time. I mean, they've been utilized for probably around 60 years now or so. At the start, they were coming out left, right, and center with just many tests being published, but none of them really had the scientific rigor behind them. So when companies such as Assessio and other leading companies have started producing scientific tests, they really started to focus on the reliability and the validity of the test, to really ensure firstly that the tests are measuring what they're supposed to measure, but then to make sure they, measure the same thing over time. So if you were to do the test today, in 2 hours time, in 2 weeks time, or in 2 years time, you're still going to get a very similar result. And that's one of the first things that companies focused on. But as you said, since then, there's been a huge shift. We're going into a data age now where it's all about user friendliness. It's all about the ease of actually doing these tests and the candidate experience. And that's something that's really been more and more emphasized in the development of more recent tests now.
So I was talking to a candidate the other day who said that she performed a psychometric assessment on a really bad day. I think she was having a bad day, and that she felt that if she was on a different day, her psychometrics results would have differed. Is that right? I mean, does the science capture mood?
Well, in essence, it could be correct. It shouldn't change it much over time. But if you're not feeling good, some of the tests are done on the speed of answers, in which case, if you're not feeling very good, you're taking your time to read things, you're slower in responding, then that could affect your result. But it's not going to affect it to a point that's going to be that detrimental to your score.
Yeah.
With all tests, there is room for error in them. With all the tests that we use, within one standard deviation, there is a 95%, correct, like it's going to be correct 95% of the time. And within two standard deviations, it's going to be 99% of the time. And that is there to cater for things like this. So when we're discussing results with our clients, we do let them know about this, that there is some room for error there. At the same time, this isn't going to be great enough to affect the score too greatly.
Yeah. Now, what we got to think about is that these, I'm working from home, so that's my child downstairs screaming, the fun and joy of working from home. In terms of the actual founders or people that would use this as a tool, this is to complement, obviously, the interview process. So my clients would use this because they, were working on an assigned recruitment project. They've got 3 candidates at first interview, or even at second. And this tool can really look at the outlier or help them decide which ones are going to be the more suited. But what I'd like to understand from you, Thorbjørn, if I was to talk to founders of businesses, what are the key benefits of, let's say, startups and scale-ups? Why should they use Psychometrics? Because historically, it's always been enterprise clients, enterprise companies.
No, that's very true. And what I've found is mostly is those, those larger companies that utilize them because of the sheer cost of them, and generally when people hear psychometrics, they also hear, large costs, they think it's going to be a very expensive thing. But when you're looking at, in general, the pricing of psychometrics is actually quite affordable these days. It's not as, elite as it used to be. And for startups and scale-ups, it's very important to make sure that the hires you're making are hires that are firstly going to stick around, because an incorrect hire, is going to cost the company a lot in terms of having to re-advertise jobs.
The hidden costs in time and money.
Yeah, exactly. And that in itself, just makes it a lot more worthwhile to ensure that the people you are bringing on board are going to be people that are firstly able to do the job, and people that are going to want to stay because their values match the company as well.
Yeah, I think if you're a good recruiter, and you'll have a client that will say to you many a time, "Oh, you've put me in a position where it's really hard to choose." So you've presented them with some candidates, and then they can't choose. So that's why I think a scientific backed model like a psychometric is an absolute key way to hire, especially in today's world. Why do you think people like to use psychometrics in terms of like the outputs? So what does it give them essentially? What if we was to talk loosely about a company, a scale-up company that had to do lots of hires that didn't use psychometrics, and another company, a similar size, similar space, they were using psychometrics, what kind of differences could we expect?
Okay.
Tenure, or engagement.
Well, firstly, looking at the aptitude and personality, by looking at those, firstly, you can see that the people that you are hiring are going to be suitable for the role. But not only that, you get a detailed report on their personality, which will then help you to know how to manage these people. And that is one of the key features, is that it's not just a test finding out, this person's personality matches this job role, but it also allows you to understand this is their downfalls, this is their strengths, this is their weaknesses. So we really can see how they can be managed. And if they are going through a certain period where, their productivity might be dropping or something like that, it's not always easy to talk to someone and get that information from them. But by looking at these tests, you can see that the most likely reasons for that happening, and then you can try and outmanage those reasons. That's one really important thing. But not only that, as you said, you're bringing on people with similar motivations, similar needs to the company needs and the culture you've built up there. And that in itself just ensures that their motivation and their engagement within their role is going to always remain high, And as they say, if you have a happy workforce with a high job satisfaction, they're always going to outperform your expectations.
Absolutely. Yeah, it helps them grow. So talk me through your business plan then. So I understand that you guys are penetrating the UK market with your business consultancy. Tell us more about that, Thorbjørn.
Okay, so at the moment we have partnered with Assessio, which is the leading psychometric test publisher within the Nordics.
Yeah.
And we are really just bringing their product to the UK at the moment. So this product is like a combination of about 8 different tests, all combined into an online test platform called Ascend. And this really just allows for easy access to all the tests, where you can send out mass volumes or small volumes to different candidates. You get it all back to the central location. And from that, you can really compare your, like through visual analytics and through reports, you can compare and contrast different candidates all through this one centralized website, pretty much. We are bringing that into the UK market at the moment. It's only been in the UK for around a year now. So, you know, not a very long time.
And if people want to get in contact with you, because I know that Skyland's going to be using you as our preferred supplier of psychometric assessments, but in terms of others, how can they get hold of you, Thorbjørn? What's the best contact detail?
Well, we have two main ways. I mean, you can jump on our website, insight.co.uk, and that's spelled INPSYGHT.
Get that right,
yeah. And alternatively, if you can just go onto our company's LinkedIn, which is Insight Consultancy, or you can find me on LinkedIn at Thorbjørn Bengtsson. So it's THORBJORN, and then Bengtsson is BENGTSON. And any of those routes are fine. There's also a number on our website. You can always just give us a call and we can get through to us that way.
Brilliant. Well, Thorbjørn, thanks for clearing some of those myths up about psychometrics. Really appreciate you coming on the show. For those that have been listening, I have to apologise. My 18-month-old son decided to throw a crying fit, but that's just working from home. That's what we all expect these days. So I'd love to catch up with you on another show soon, just to see how you're getting on in the UK. But we wish you the best of luck, and I'll look forward to catching up with you again soon.
No, I appreciate it, Paul, and I look forward to working with you in the near future as well.
Good news.